Hello, I'm
And
Scott
I'm Evan
Soshnick.
Novi Williams, and this is the Happy Turkey Day sports business podcast, the Sporticast.
I would give thanks for tech support to be right next to us instead of on the 14th floor. I'll give you that. Man, people need to know, listeners, what we just went through to bring this episode
Scott's
to you.
computer just
Multiple
rebooted for
reboots,
5 minutes, maybe more, 10 minutes.
Oh my,
perhaps?
5. Oh my God, multiple reboots. The please wait, the little spinning thing, the whatever that. Oh God, they have to do some sort of psychoanalysis as to what's the most annoying thing they could possibly put on the screen when you're waiting for the thing to reboot.
Yeah.
And that little spinning thing is.
What do you prefer, the spinning thing or the time, the sands of time thing that flips up and down?
No, I don't like that either. I'm wondering if there is something that would placate sort of just the anger that builds as you're sitting there trying to get something done. But this is a positive. Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for all the positive, Novi Williams. I'm just thankful that we have an episode and somehow we don't have to go figure this out, and I don't have to go home, or you don't have to have new equipment or whatever it is. For now, this could be, if something goes wrong in the next 3 minutes, it'll be the shortest episode in the history of the Sporticast. But anyway, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Boy, so now I'm tired. What do we want to talk about? Now I'm exhausted.
I think we should start with football.
Let's do
the
football.
Standard 3-game slate of NFL games on Thursday, and then on Friday, Scott, a couple interesting things happening. One, we have a Black Friday game once again in the NFL playing at 3:00 because of the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961, which we can get into if you want. There's an interesting Amazon story on Friday. Amazon, according to Jacob Feldman, our colleague, 15 straight hours of sports coverage. This is Black Friday, obviously a massive shopping day, a huge e-commerce day for Amazon. And unlike a lot of other sports broadcasters, either on the streaming side or on the TV side, Amazon has other motives that layer on top of just wanting to sell ads against and have a lot of people watching.
As you have said, not the core business.
So 15 straight hours of sports, live sports on Amazon, starting with a golf skins match.
Can I encourage everyone not to avail themselves of the 15 consecutive hours of sports available anywhere? Get up, even the NFL on Thanksgiving. There's 3 games. It's 1, 4:30, and 8:20 Eastern time. So that would go to about 11:20. Can I please beg of all of you, pick a little bit of each one. Get up, get outside, play some football in the backyard, lawn darts. Ping pong in the basement, whatever it may be. Please do not sit there for those hours eating whatever it is you're going to order, or so much turkey, so much stuffing for all those hours just watching football. Move around a little bit.
Every year on Thanksgiving, I feel like I have the same experience for that last third NFL game where we turn it on and I'm like, God, it's like midnight. Why is this game kicking off at midnight? And then I look at the clock and it's 8:02 and I'm like, oh, I'm just exhausted.
So dark. You're exhausted.
Feels like
I will be, as you know,
11:45 p.m.
I will be going from New Jersey. My sister every year on Long Island hosts the family. So one sister coming down from Massachusetts, the other 2 were close by. So what should be my 45-minute drive will be an hour and 45 minutes to her house. I will say, I believe we do it right. She mandates, she's off for a rocker, but everybody has to write down what they're thankful for. They go around the table thing. We go outside for the football, the wiffle ball, all of it. I think the weather would be a little chilly, but everybody goes outside for a while. There is all those things I mentioned down in the basement. If you want to play pool or ping pong, it's lucky they have one of those houses.
What
It's not bad, but I don't even get that 8:20 because I will say normally I'd like to get out of there around 7:30 to start the drive home, because then it's just bumper to bumper and who knows what route will be open and which crossings of the which bridge, which whatever. So and as you know, I'm laying it this year. Without getting specific, I am leaving for the Middle East the next day. So I need to get home and get a little bit of rest before that kind of trip.
Well, I think you'll be thankful for a easy airport experience on Friday is probably the
hopeful. I will be thankful, but hopeful for. Yeah, but Krupi wrote a story. I mean, if you're looking at this clearly, I mean, Packers Lions is great. That's the tradition in Detroit. I got it. 8 Bengals and Ravens. I think people, if you had to list these games, that would be pick
Yep.
C. But Chiefs and Cowboys at 4:30 Eastern time. There's talk of most watched. Krupi says 50 million is a pipe dream, and if you want to read what he said, but I wouldn't be, no matter what number you told me, I wouldn't be surprised. You've got Thanksgiving, everybody watching, Patrick Mahomes, America's team, Cowboys, coming off a big win over the Eagles. I could see that doing an absolute monster.
And high leverage games for both of those teams. I mean, we don't need to get too deep into the standings, but the Chiefs have not had a great start to the year. They need to be winning games. And the Cowboys, who did not have a lot expected of them, have played their way into at least having meaningful games at this point in the season. So a critical win for whichever of the teams gets it there. And then, Scott, on Friday, you have the 8-3 Eagles and the 8-3 Chicago Bears, two of the biggest media markets in the country.
And you and I said the same thing. The Bears are 8-3.
That
shows you how
definitely surprised
When did that happen? I thought they were terrible.
But yeah, if the most valuable games here are certainly that middle Thanksgiving game, the early Thanksgiving game, and then maybe the Black Friday afternoon game. Yeah, 3 pretty good matchups if you're the NFL or its media partners, going back to back to back. And then on Friday, Scott, and we can continue talking about Amazon in a second. Also the start of college football's rivalry week, and there are some really interesting kind of media scheduling rivalries underway right now. Christmas Day with the NFL and the NBA is certainly one of them. But this day after Thanksgiving, where a lot of different leagues and sports try to kind of carve out space for themselves. I mentioned the golf happening earlier in the morning. That's on Amazon. This is not the match, the TNT match that Tiger Woods was
Skins
doing,
game.
but it's a skins game, and it's a similar style event. You have a ton of big college football games throughout the day, and then sitting in the middle there is the Amazon NFL game. And there's NBA as well, right? The end of the 15 hours
NBA Cup
of Amazon's coverage is back-to-back NBA games on Friday night. So this has become obviously a very big shopping day. It has also become a very big day for people to sit down and watch sporting events.
Give me your holy grail, what the screen would look like, Novi, because I mean this is where we're going. So I'm going to say 4 quadrants, right? I know people can do more than 4 in the video game. Well, you've got obviously the game itself must be top left, right? Then you've got e-com, you've got social, and you've got sports betting. To me, nightmare. I mean those are the big. Well, no, but yeah, for you and me, yeah. But I'm thinking for my focus group of 1, if you gave him a 60-inch flat screen TV with controlled by the phone, whatever it is, and he's sitting there and he's got the game, the e-com, the sports betting, and the social. I'm not sure what else he would require or want, but I think that's where we're headed. Like that's the screen by which they're all integrated, and one prompts what the other is doing, and then you get a picture-in-picture in the game, and then you've got the red zone channel, and you've got them all around. I mean, that's where it's going, and it's all they have all your data, and they know that you're a big Patrick Mahomes fan, and Adidas just re-signed Patrick Mahomes to a new deal, and it's going to include golf as well as football, so you're going to get the Patrick Mahomes golf shirt sent to you while he's playing right after he completes a touchdown pass. That's where we're headed.
Yeah,
no, am I wrong about
I
this?
won't ask too much about your son's gambling habits as a too young to be gambling.
No. He brings it up and he tells me he's betting not for money, and I like ready to wring his neck. I'm like, if I see you with any real betting app, because I don't know how he would start that or fund it or whatever, but if I see you with any real betting app on your phone, dude, that's the end of it, right there.
I would say
no
replace
way.
that one with maybe a video game screen for him, and maybe that's
okay. Well, or we add a video game screen, yeah.
And you're right about the overlaps here. I thought this was interesting in Jacob's story, and a dumb spoiler alert. I apologize for folks who are going to watch this game on Friday. You are probably going to be served an ad for the Pepsi prebiotic cola. And this is one of these new interactive in-game Amazon ads where with a click of the button on your smart TV, you can, with one button, add it directly to your Amazon cart. So we're starting to see, I think, the exact kind of interactive and probably some tailored specific custom ads that deliver directly to people where instead of a QR code necessarily, or instead of you having to take the step of thinking, oh, I want that soda. I'm gonna go buy that later. I'm gonna buy it on my
Is this like a
phone.
bargain channel? Is the first one freebie? Am
Yeah,
I
that's a
getting a
good question. I'm
freebies
not sure.
trial? I
But
mean, that's how
we're
you got to
getting to
do
the
this,
point
right?
now for Amazon where, yeah, the value here of being able to click a button during a commercial and immediately add something to your cart. That's one of the things they wanted when they paid all this money for NFL games. Jacob also said, I thought this was kind of interesting also, that advertisers on Black Friday across Amazon Sports Slate, those who buy despite not selling directly on Amazon's site, 50% growth year over year. So Amazon is getting, it seems, both kind of the direct shopping Black Friday lift, and is also finding advertisers, the kind of traditional sports streaming advertisers who just want to advertise because it's an NFL game that 15 or 20 million people are going to be watching. So a bunch of different interesting things here for Amazon, again, because this is not just a standard sports streamer. The motivations here are different for Netflix than they are for Amazon.
So, what chance does a conservative spender like me? What chance do I have, Novi, if in the future you're just going to be sitting there watching the game? And have you seen this thing through feeds now? I'm getting stuff sent to me where it pops up, hey, the 15 best gifts for teenage boys,
Okay.
15 best gifts for an athlete. Do you see
Yeah.
that? So, so if my family is sitting there watching the game and screen 3, all of a sudden the ecom, slot is going to pop up with these are the best things for the athlete because they know my son is sitting there watching, and all he has to do is hit the button or voice control buy, and it goes into the Amazon cart that's already attached to my credit card, much like the evil video game people have my credit card for skins and upgrades and all that. What chance do I have? We are going to be the most broke nation on earth.
Yeah, and a lot of this is similar mechanisms to what has made Amazon made Instagram such an important and valuable
Yeah.
sales platform for a lot of people. TikTok obviously getting into that game as well. The
Mm-hmm.
ability to kind of merge the influencer culture and ease of shopping into kind of single seamless experiences is the quote unquote holy grail for a lot of retailers and a lot of people that are trying to sell you something. And you're right, Scott, the and this happens in various ways over the last few decades, but the ease by which you decide I may want something and the ease to buy it is going to be so seamless that at some point soon you'll just have to think it, right? Probably it'll say like think
It'll be
red
the
in your
chip,
head,
yeah.
and we'll order this and deliver it to you. Yeah, all of the barriers between seeing something that you might want to buy and being able to buy it with the flick of a wrist are coming down. And yes, that is absolutely going to be a better environment for getting people to buy things.
I'm either stupid or I'm slow, but I was really struck. Remember when they had all the talk of banning TikTok in the US, and the number of, for me, I was very surprised at the number of small business retailers that came out and said, my whole business is on
Yep.
TikTok. If I lose this platform, I lose my business. So that's when I really gained an appreciation for the strength of at least that platform. And now with the ubiquity of sport and the rest, I'm just scares me as to where it's going, I
Yeah,
gotta say.
and the proliferation of people who are, you're not part of this group, but are using YouTube TV or
Yep.
other types of cable replacements, and the people who are using
Mm-hmm.
smart TVs, right, where the remote is kind of a part of the experience. Yeah, all of these things are going to become easier and easier, and it's one of the reasons I think that that you see groups like Amazon that for a while live sports broadcasting was not something that was part of their radar. Now thinking, okay, maybe this is our time now because we're aggregating all these people watching, but our ability to kind of get them onto the platforms that we care more about than our live sports streaming is easier now than ever and will only get easier as time goes on.
So what do you think is the path forward then for Jeff Bezos et al? Is it more tier one rights like the NFL and the NBA? Or, and by the way, it can be both, or is it going to be tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, or acquisition of different kind of rights where it's O&O properties where they can do whatever the heck they want and serve it up any
It
way they
does
want?
feel like, and I know there's nuances, but it does feel like a lot of these sports stream, these new streaming companies are thinking about things similarly, which is they want standalone packages that are more than just you just get a game, right? And Black Friday, the Black Friday game is a thing, and the Christmas Day game is a thing, and if they could get their hands on a Thanksgiving game, the Thanksgiving game is a thing. Jacob Feldman did a really good job in our Club Sportico last week, breaking down the new MLB, the variety of MLB games, Scott, the new MLB TV deal, and just the amount of different standalone eventized was the word he used, but eventized different. I'm going to pull it up here
The
because I'm
Iowa
going to say it.
game, the Hall of
Yeah,
Fame
you give
game,
away
the
the
yeah.
final game of the regular season for one, right? So that's just a one last. I'll read them all to you because I thought this was interesting. NBC gets an opening day standalone primetime game, a quote unquote roadblock of 15 exclusive games on July 5th, which is an exclusive Labor Day primetime slot. They get game 2,430, which is the highest stakes regular end of the regular season game. Netflix is getting a singular opening night game, its own special event game to go with the Home Run Derby, which is obviously the kind of OG MLB event style thing. NBC Peacock gets an MLB special event game, which I guess is similar to that game in the Iowa cornfield or what they did in Tennessee on the racetrack.
They're bringing that back, yeah.
ESPN gets a Memorial Day game for coverage and a second half opener coming right out of the All-Star break. It just feels like a lot of these companies now, what they're looking for is something to eventize, for lack of a better word, these games, right? And that seems like it is really what Netflix wants. It seems really like it's what Amazon wants. If it's an NBA Cup game, for example, or if it's a Black Friday NFL game, those are things that they can build kind of a bigger narrative around. To me, this is the future of a lot of the skills competitions around All-Star games, is that things like the 3-point contest or the slam dunk contest or the home run derby, those feel like the kind of event style things that a group like an Amazon or a Netflix really want to wrap their heads around.
So then where does Project B, nice
Nice.
segue, where does Project B get shown, right? Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the new age now. It's sort of you don't need the network, and on a global basis, it's whether it's a streaming service and everybody can watch in one platform or multiple platforms. Sophie Cunningham just signed on, so she's like, what, player number 8 or so? I didn't really remember the number, but a quasi big name joining Project B, the alternate sort of sports league. It's interesting how everyone's viewing. These are all tech executives who are backing this, and they're looking at it quite differently. You don't need this standalone broadcaster
Yeah, and
anymore.
this is kind of a different trend that I think we're seeing, which is this idea of more concentrated, more personal sports in which you maybe don't need the traditional 5-on-5 30 team WNBA. I know it's not 30 teams. Just like trying to create leagues where the stars themselves are a more prominent and central part of the actual thing. Sometimes that comes around with equity, which we saw in Unrivaled. Project B, for those who don't know, is a group of folks who, for the past couple years, were looking at trying to build an NBA rival, and pivoted that business to a degree. Maverick Carter was an advisor for a while, no longer, but pivoted that recently to focusing not on men's basketball, but women's basketball. It's unclear to me how much the NBA deciding that it really wanted to formalize its European plans, how much that maybe kind of caused the shift here. But what they're doing is now creating it's not a WNBA rival necessarily, because it's playing kind of November to April schedule, which is where Unrivaled plays, not where the WNBA plays. So theoretically, people like Sophie Cunningham and Nneka Ogwumike, Alyssa Thomas, Jonquel Jones, those are some of the Jewel Lloyd. Those are the ones who have said they're part of Project B. They can theoretically do both, play in the WNBA and play in Project B. Project B is bad for Unrivaled, Scott. That seems definitively clear.
Yeah.
Is it bad for the W? Who knows? Again, I think like Unrivaled, the salaries that are being tossed around as part of Project B are significantly larger than at least salaries in the WNBA this past season. We'll see what the new CBA looks like if and when they do agree to it. But yeah, there's a lot of heat right now in women's basketball, and we've seen this in other sports, Scott, with Live Golf and some other big examples. But there's a lot of money sitting on the sidelines that does feel like, with the right upfront capital and the right strategy, that there are some very big incumbents that could be vulnerable if done right. And I do think that that's part of what Project B is thinking, which is that women's basketball is growing commercially, it's growing in its fan base, there's an opportunity there, and the incumbents, whether that's the 30-year incumbent in the WNBA or the 3-year incumbent in Unrivaled, that the incumbents are maybe don't have as strong a stranglehold on the sport as it may seem from afar.
All right, I had a lot of looking there. You did a nice soliloquy there because I was trying to find some quotes and whatever. So here's one of the co-founders, Grady Burnett, of Project B, and here's the quote I really enjoyed. Let me call it up. We just said, look, there's a supply-demand mismatch, Burnett said, adding that leagues are still largely set up as nationally focused entities with domestic-dominated media deals, while the internet has made it easier to engage global fandoms and follow athletes from around the world. Okay, then this is the line I really like. We think the next big platform company outside of AI could really be built at the intersection of sports and entertainment. Boom.
There you go.
Like, yep. It's which, and by the way, something we are also focused on here at Sportico, inside a Penske family built on the coverage of entertainment and Hollywood and art and music and fashion. One of the reasons, we're here is to sort of cover the intersection of sport as it pertains to sport and entertainment on a global basis. Once again, I'm off to the Middle East in a day. This is not about what's happening here in the United States. If that's your approach, it ain't working anymore. So how that league will be broadcast, you take that sentence, you marry it with what we just said about Amazon and the screen and how it'll be delivered. Now I'm throwing in fashion and art and and food and culture, all of those things. Like, how will these games be presented? How will it be consumed? Best of all, for those around it, how are you going to sell me stuff? It's a very, very interesting proposition.
And I want to go back to the start of this conversation, because we started it by talking about Sophie Cunningham joining.
We started it by my frustration of not being able to log onto the damn computer. That's where it
that,
all starts.
Yes. What a year for Sophie Cunningham, Scott.
Man, did she play it well. She played it well.
She's been in the league, been in WNBA for 8 years now, always kind of been a bit role player, was starting a bit in Phoenix at the end of her time there. Only twice has she averaged double digits in points in a season. Didn't do that this year, by the way, with the Fever. But the attention paid on Caitlin Clark, and then her role in defending Caitlin Clark at a time when everybody was talking about it. She doesn't hurt that she's good looking, good in camera, did the podcast thing, has skyrocketed into one of the more prominent players in the WNBA basically overnight, and now has parlayed that into a spot, an opportunity to play in one of these side off-season leagues that don't invite everybody, Scott, right? There's a select amount of people that they're bringing, and it's about your talent and what you bring to the thing elsewhere. But
yeah, go read Sophie's social statistics. That's
incredible.
What she brings to the table.
And I think of her kind of the way I think about Jason Kelsey to a degree, right? Which is somebody who was in a league for a very long time, and maybe diehards knew who they were, but didn't have a huge profile. And then very quickly kind of doing the right things, saying the right things, and riding the right kind of trends suddenly became ubiquitous. I feel like I'm seeing Sophie Cunningham everywhere all of a sudden. And yeah, I think if you're looking at 2025 as kind of the big winners of the year from an athlete standpoint, I think Sophie Cunningham has to be high on that list, and should be quite high on that list.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense to me when I saw her in an Adidas commercial. I get it, speaking of Adidas and Pat Mahomes and all that. But when I saw her in a student loan commercial, I was like, I really did. I stepped back and I was like, all right, I'm trying to think of why Sophie, why this. I haven't made a determination yet. I haven't really given it the sit down, write it down treatment. But I'm trying to figure out, like, why Sophie, like, who said in the meeting room, should we get Sophie Cunningham? And somebody says, who? Indiana Fever defended Caitlin, and this is why, and she'll resonate with our audience. And like, okay, but I'd like to delve a little further into that and say, what's the ROI on Sophie on the student loan
I mean, I think
commercial?
part of the thing here is that, and we've seen this in women's soccer before, particularly for the women's players on the U.S. national team. Yeah, I think that because of the subset of people that watch and consume women's sports, and that subset is growing, to be totally clear. The stars in women's sports in America have a different type of audience and have a very fervent and very appreciative audience, right? And I do think that if you're an advertiser, depending on who you're trying to get to, Sophie Cunningham may be exactly the voice box and the promotion that you want, relative to maybe some men's players that on aggregate are maybe more famous across the US, but just don't hit the same type of audience that someone like Sophie does.
All right, I want to totally take a tough turn here.
Oh boy.
Well, an easy turn. No, an easy turn, but just not sport biz related. But it happened earlier, and I said I was going to bring it up on the show because I was very impressed with you. Every day you go down and you get your breakfasty type stuff, and I eat at home nice and early, so I don't need it. But you have a thing where you try to carry too much. You know, you've always had this. Has been years in the making. You dropped the cereal in the escalator once at Bloomberg. You brought the whole thing to a literal grinding halt.
Probably cost Bloomberg hundreds
but you're very good at
that cereal spill.
You could be a Red Panda-esque. Like you could have somebody in the morning follow you and broadcast. You know, so today, if I have it right, you had a cup of hot tea, you had a cup of milk, you had 2 bowls above the rim of cereal, right? And you balanced it. What is that balanced on? Was there was there another item? Was that it?
On the mug, yeah.
But okay, so 2 bowls above the rim, balanced on the cup, and then holding the other. And I was ahead of you. I was opening the door, and I heard you sneeze. And I in my head, I thought for sure, because I envisioned myself it was a loud. I envisioned it all just going, and nothing. I was expecting to hit the floor. Nothing. And you gave a great line. You said, I had to engage my
100%.
core, which a great line. So kudos to you, my friend. I'm thankful that I get to work with somebody who entertained me like this, because doing a show with somebody who didn't would be very difficult. But you've been doing it a long time when I can really get content out of you sneezing behind me, holding way too much stuff.
You will empathize with this because I know you've had some back issues in the past. You know how when you have a hurt back and you have to sneeze, you can like get yourself in position ahead of time? That's basically what I did here. I knew the sneeze was coming. I was like, oh, this could be really bad for me. And I had to like maneuver out. I had to get my legs set wide, bent a little bit, engage the core.
I didn't see any of this because I was in front of you.
Exactly. I had about maybe 2 seconds.
I was just expecting a crash.
Very much knew how to get myself in position to limit the impact. But I appreciate you noticing, because I was also very impressed with myself.
Good. I give credit when it's due. I couldn't believe you let us sneeze that loud, because I know what goes into that sneeze, and nothing hit the ground. So very impressed.
100%.
Well done.
Well, for everyone out there, when you're enjoying your Thanksgiving leftovers and you're taking them from one place to the other on a heaping plate, if you have to sneeze, I recommend engaging that core.
But 1 bowl of above the rim cereal balanced on another bowl of above the rim cereal is really high degree of difficulty.
We do a weekend sometimes on a Wednesday morning in the Sportico office. He is Scott Soshnick.
Nobody else here. It's just us.
On Twitter at Soshnick. I'm Eben Novi Williams. Find me on Twitter at Novi_Williams. Happy Thanksgiving to you and to Justin Greenewald, who produces the show. Thank you very much to Justin. Sportico social team, which is Carol Winston, Matt Palacio, and Sebastian Milo, would like you to know that you can follow the show at Sporticast, which is the hub of the Sportico Media Network.